Karla. I am your host today, along with my co-host, Yvette Thomas. Hi, Yvette. Hi, everybody in our viewing audience, and welcome to another episode of Soul Tie Saturdays. Before we get started, we want you to like, share, and subscribe to our content, especially those of you who are already following us. Share with your friends and your family because we have been doing some stuff this year, and even today we're about to blow your mind, and hopefully not too much. But we want you to like, share, and subscribe to our pages, Facebook, Breaking Chains, the number 3. On YouTube, we want you to go to Breaking Chains Ministries TV. And then on Instagram, we want you to go to Breaking Chains number 9. And we are also on TikTok. Follow us at Breaking Chains MIN the number 3. Again, on TikTok is Breaking Chains MIN and the number 3. So, Yvette, we're coming to the close of the year.
And it has been a year.
It has been a year. We are now experiencing fall-like weather after all this massive heat throughout the United States, and we're in North Carolina. So I'm like, we broke some records in our area for heat this year.
Absolutely.
And in talking about this year, it's just been, there's a lot I could say to describe this year, but I want to say one is challenging, one is chaotic,
Those are good words. Mm-hmm.
and my last description of this year would be crisis.
Yeah. Like I said, all good words to describe this year. Yeah.
And in all of that, God is still good.
God is still good. He's still God.
And He's still on the throne.
And He's still on the throne.
Yes. So, but for us as human beings,
my favorite term this year is that life has been lifing.
You think?
Really hard.
And I'm gonna go there. I'm piggyback. World been whirling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Individually, life been lifing, and things going on globally, nationally, politically. It's amazing.
And then in all of that, when the terms that you use, challenging, chaotic, and crisis, for me, really forcing me to really seek God more.
Oh yes.
And forcing me to, we say we trust God.
Oh my God. Don't talk about it.
We say we trust God until we have to trust Him.
Yes.
And this year for me, on a personal note, it has really, there have been some things that have happened in my life that have really forced me to, really have to trust God with it. Because there's nothing else to do but really just trust God with it. And so, but yeah, 24 has been, it's been crazy.
If you have not noticed by now, we're about to discuss a year to remember.
A year to remember.
2024 has been a year to remember. So we're going to take a look back on a few things that has happened in 2024, globally, probably nationally. Just stay tuned. Just stay tuned. And of course, we want you to comment because we want to hear your comments as well on some of the things that we're discussing today. So, Yvette, I'm going to let you go ahead and take the lead on this one as far as 2024. Because you know me, I could start at one place and keep it, go on, but you want to be strategic about this. Yeah.
I think the first thing that I want to talk about, because it's so close now, is this year. Of course, we've been in the United States. We've been gearing up for this year election, and it has been a roller coaster this year. Seems like to me,
That is
my perspective has been a roller coaster because we started out the year. We had our current president, President Biden, who we assumed would be um, the nominee for this year. And then, of course, we had a former President Trump, who was returning to the arena, which, yeah, surprisingly, but not surprisingly, returning. And then all of that flipped, like at the very end. Biden stepped back and announced that he would allow Vice President Kamala Harris to take the nomination for president.
At first, I think I'll say me. I'm not going to talk about our current president. To me, he is a humble man. Very laid back, but he's very knowledgeable on what he knows as far as not just national but world events. I will give him his props. However, I think everything started with that debate with Donald Trump. Now we have to understand Donald's gonna be Donald. Everybody know how Donald is.
We expected him to.
And I mean, he came out with the guns. And it kind of went in Donald's favor a little bit. Well, I say it just went in Donald's favor. But I do have a problem with the Democratic Party. How they kind of undercut their own president to kind of make him step back because he did not show forth what they wanted him to show forth. But that's not his character. He's not one to like overtalk or, like that. We know that. I mean, because he won the first time.
Right. Well, I think too, the concern for his health, and his mental state, was, even going into that debate, it was a concern that, how he was going to be under that kind of pressure or whatever. So I get it, but I can say personally, I was very surprised to hear that he was going to allow Vice President Kamala to be the one that takes the Democratic nomination.
We're talking about somebody that just, I have a problem with it. I really do. I have a problem with, because she was not, per se, it's just like out of the blue. I'm trying to look for the word. Because of course, Biden was already president and he was nominated. She was more like just put there by Democratic delegates per se.
Well, and I would say, of course, with her being the vice president, then of course, at this point, who else? Because she's already the vice president, right? So, if not Biden, then who else? That's the way I look at it.
Well, we can look at it like that now. But I thought they had somebody else in mind, because I'm not gonna lie. Now, when President Obama was president, Biden, even though he was vice president in the background, Biden did a lot of work, and you heard about his the way he treated people and his dealings overseas. with different countries, our allies, and you heard about that. I'm saying, don't judge me, judge yourself. What I'm saying is, and I don't know Kamala like that. I mean, he picked her for vice president, all well and good. She's been there 3.5, almost 4 years, or over 3.5 years. I really don't know what she's been doing as vice president. I just don't.
And that's um, I think that's probably a concern for a lot of people because they don't know Kamala.
Yeah.
And I hope I'm pronouncing her right name.
Kamala, Pamela, whatever.
Kamala.
Vice President Harris.
Vice President Harris. Yeah, we're gonna go there because I don't want to be disrespectful and mispronounce her name, but I think people may feel like they don't know her and what she stands for, and I think that's been the challenge for her in the campaign is to get people to understand and know what she is about and what her administration would be about. Um, versus,
The fluff.
the fluff, the rhetoric,
The rhetoric.
and that type of thing. But with all of that, in the past, of course, with the past election, the Biden Trump election, like it was very polarizing. It was very divisive. It was a lot. And, I hope, my prayer is that it is what it is, because people take sides, they're going to take sides, but that we can, as a country, respect each other enough to respect people's different choice.
Right.
Everybody has a choice. I pray that everybody will exercise their right to vote. People died for us to have the right to vote, especially people of color. People died for us to have the right to vote. People exercise their right to vote, but also that we can be respectful of the difference of opinions, the different beliefs that people have, all of that, because I believe that, that's what, this country is supposed to be a democracy, right?
Supposed to be.
It's supposed to be. So we should all be respectful of each other's choice and not want to cancel one person or a different person because we believe differently and because, everybody, we have to vote our conscience. And I read an article and I wrote down, this is a Christian, because we're Christians.
That's right.
We are Christians. We are followers of Christ. Karla and I, we can say that. I can say that about her. She can say that about me. But as a Christian, and I know everybody in this country is not Christian. I know that. But I thought this was a good approach to take, that we ask ourselves as we go through this process, because we're getting closer, and I know things are heating up.
Yes, it is.
And I specifically limit my social media exposure because I just don't want to get caught up in all of that, because it's easy to do.
Yeah.
In all the opinions and people throwing jabs and that type of thing. But to ask myself, how am I going to allow the values and virtues and viewpoints of the kingdom of God to be my guiding principle in this election or any election? So let's keep that, let's make the main thing even in this election or anything else in our daily walk, because we magnify and magnify and magnify these things when at the end of the day, like people counseling people and relationships being torn down through this process. But at the end of the day, the election is going to be what the election is. Somebody is going to win and somebody is not going to win. But we still have to live in our communities. We still have to deal with the people that that are in a part of our lives, I hope. And so let's not get so caught up in all of the the pointing finger and throwing rocks at each other, that after the election is over, that relationships are severed because of something
Right.
the process is in place the way it is because that's the way our country is set up. So let the process be what the process is, but don't let that cause you to act in a way that is just
Unseemly.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because we're still supposed to give each other grace and respect your
Yeah.
fellow um, brothers and sisters, not just in Christ, but even your neighbors. Treat them like you want to be treated. I mean, we have been seeing that even dealing with the news, the ads. This is what I want to add to what you just said, Yvette, and we're gonna move it along a little bit. But my thing is, don't put so much attention to these ads about the political parties, all what is being said. A lot of the media, yeah, let me tell you, some of what has been clipped does not show the true picture of what was said to begin with.
It's taken out of context.
What you need to do, this is what I'm telling you to do, whoever you are. If you're going to vote, and I pray you do because your voice needs to be heard. If you don't vote, that is a vote. That's a vote.
That's true.
And if something does not go your way, you didn't vote, you cannot complain because you casted your vote. Yeah. What I'm saying is do your research on all political candidates, presidential. Believe it or not, a lot of this stuff happens from the local.
That's right. And that's where things we let go by the wayside because a lot of people don't show up for the local elections. And that's where the policies that are going to impact you personally
are being written. Yes. You need to do your research on these candidates and what will affect your life, your family values, your beliefs, everything that Yvette and I are discussing today. You need to see who is best to implement what needs to be done for you, your lifestyle, your beliefs, all of that. Stop looking at the TV, these ads, these clips. The media is making a whole lot of money off of that, and it is wrong. I mean, it's no different than we're not even on the media, somebody lying about you and taking what you said out of context. It's like, that's a lie. They are lying. Most of these ads are lies. It is just to get your attention and get you so hyped. So do your research on all these candidates and their policies.
Yeah.
And as far as the big election, the presidential election, yes, we are believers of Jesus Christ, followers of Jesus Christ. We are disciples of Jesus Christ. I mean, no ifs, ands, or buts. That's who we are. Yes, we are going to exercise our right, but my right is the kingdom of God.
Come on.
And what his purpose is on this earth, because everything is going to be ordained because of what he has planned in his divine plan. So be very cognizant that nothing is happening by happenstance. What goes on. So that's what I want to say. Do place your vote. Get early voting. Starts within a week. If you don't want to stand in the long lines on election day, go vote early. Cast your vote. But if you don't vote, you have voted. Your silence is a vote.
Your silence is a vote. Absolutely.
Okay.
That's good. Yeah, because we got to stand for something.
Something, or fall for anything.
Yeah. That's good. All right, so we're going to move on.
Okay.
Okay, so what about this weather?
Oh my God.
And the natural disasters that have happened. And personal story, during the summer in July, end of July, I live in Fuquay-Varina, North Carolina, not far from the high school. Like I can walk to the high school. And on a Saturday, it was storming. We had been through this it was like a rainy week. All week it rained, rain. And then on that Saturday, it was a thunderstorm that came up, and my children and I were in the house. I was getting ready to go visit my mother-in-law who had been in the hospital. And all of a sudden, the sky got dark.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, look, y'all better get in this house, because they were in the garage. And the sky got dark, and then the wind was like blowing sideways. And I'm looking, I'm standing in the kitchen looking out the window. I was like, we need to get in the inner.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, do y'all hear that train sound? They thought I was like tripping or whatever, right? Did y'all hear that train sound? Do y'all hear that? I hear a train. There's no train on today, right?
No train.
So that lasted for about 6 minutes, and then it was gone. Sky cleared back up, whatever. So we went on about our day, but then on the next day, I heard on the news that a tornado touched down, like right behind my house.
Come on now.
At the high school. I'm like, what? I've been in Fuquay almost 30 years. Never, okay? That was like too close for comfort for me. That was like too, I said, Lord, I thank you. Because that was like really, so now when, and I used to not pay, I'm being real, I'm back. Now when they say it's a storm and it's tornado watches and all that kind of, I'm paying attention now. Because I wasn't paying attention. Like it was too close for comfort.
Here we having tornadoes where tornadoes don't happen.
Exactly.
New York had a tornado. How's that? How did New York have a tornado? But since we're talking tornadoes, I did a little research, and believe it or not, and this is as of May 2024.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't May 2023. This is how the weather has been weathering. And the weathermen don't even know what's going on half the time. As of May of this year, the United States have already experienced 700 plus tornadoes. In the United States, normally you hear it like in like Iowa, Kansas. I mean,
and that's really where the plains flat, the land is flat.
Mm-hmm. But now these tornadoes are whipping everywhere in places you've never heard of. It's crazy.
Okay, so even that's tornadoes, but what about this hurricane season?
Girl.
And the flooding that has happened, like right here, right outside our back door in Western North Carolina, in the mountains.
People actually from Florida come inland and come to our mountains, Appalachia, Black Mountains or whatever, to escape hurricanes when it's coming to their doorstep. What happens when you can't even go to the mountain? And it wasn't even a hurricane, it was a tropical system at that time, but it was so powerful that it messed up Western North Carolina's infrastructure. And it came through Florida, bless their heart, in the Gulf. It came through Florida. We're talking about Hurricane Helene. It came through the Gulf of Florida, and it hit as a Category 4. Keep that in your back pocket, because that was just 2 weeks ago. We just had Milton just come through on Wednesday and hit. It was, first of all, it started as a Hurricane 5.
Category 5.
Then it went to a 4. Then it went back to a 5. Then it went back to a 4, and they were hoping it would hit, which it did, as a 3, but it was still powerful. It brought in so much surges. St. Petersburg, Tampa, it's told. The same people that had to evacuate from Helene also had to evacuate for Milton. And a lot of these people are going back to nothing. And we're not even talking about the hurricanes they experienced in Florida and the Gulf Coast prior to that. it's been an active hurricane season, and yes, it's climate change. We're talking about the rising of our sea levels. When Milton came through, they were talking about the surface temperature of the water. The surface temperature was 88 plus some parts 90 degrees. Not that's hot.
Yeah, it is.
We have glaciers that are melting, making our sea levels rise. Literally. We're talking about the ones in our northern hemisphere, even in Antarctica. There was an article about, and it was on the news, that there are glaciers melting in Antarctica. We're talking about cold cup. Why are they melting?
So, but there are, there are a lot of differences of opinion as to whether global warming is a real thing, though.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about global warming. I have to say, is it due to man and our misuse of our resources?
Absolutely.
And could it be also, I have a question of why we are always sending out these satellites in outer space. This is me, don't be judging me. Y'all think for yourself. I think a lot. Could it be that some of these satellites that they are launching, and it seems like the United States be trying to launch before other countries do, or vice versa. Could it be some of this stuff deals, not necessarily, it could be dealing with your cell phone and all of that and trying to map and all that, but could it be tricking the weather?
Triggering.
Could it have something to do with the weather as well?
It's something to think about.
I mean, they're already trying to see if they can put civilization on Mars. Why not?
Wow.
I mean, let's get real. Man is smart.
Too smart for their own good.
Man is very smart.
Too smart for our own good sometimes.
And as generations, as go along, because believe it or not, we're more wiser, more experienced than previous generations and previous people that came before us. We actually do know a little bit more. Could it be? I mean, you already had movie stars taking rockets and just for fun, going into outer space just to see how it feels.
And then at the same time, that whole situation that happened with the submarine where it imploded and killed those people that were trying to go down to the Titanic, just because they could, I mean, of course, now there are the questions that were being raised prior to the launch are being exposed now, that there were a lot of questions, a lot of things that were going on, that a lot of warning signs that they shouldn't do it, but because they could, they did. Which, people lost their lives because of that. But then again, that goes back to what you were saying about the technology that the advancements in technology today, and we are so smart that it might be, too smart for our own good. Which another topic, Oprah recently did a special on the development of AI.
Let's talk about that.
And how it's concerning because AI, artificial intelligence, for those who don't know, artificial intelligence has grown at such a rate that it's alarm. People are sounding alarms now, because it's doing things that we're far more advanced than people originally thought that it would. Even the government is concerned. interviewed the FBI, director of the FBI, I think that was. And, he literally voiced concern for what he saw, he seen of the development of the artificial intelligence, and that, we really need to be aware as a consumer. Like now, AI, we thought identity theft was, started to become a thing, and scams started to become a thing. But even the things that we see now on social media and the different platforms and stuff like that, we tend to believe what we see, but can we believe what we see? Because AI can generate things and change things. And he even gave a little anecdote of someone showed him a video that was supposedly him, and it was not him, saying some things that he's like, it was not me, it looked like me, it sounded like me, but it was not me. I never said those things.
So who's watching us?
So, like, that's, to me, that's kind of scary. Because, because we do tend to, we live in, everybody is on social media. Everybody on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. I know I'm old school. I probably don't know all of the different platforms that are available that are out there, but I know those three, and YouTube. And so, I want to call some names, but I'm not. I'm not.
We don't want to.
But yeah, there have been some things that have been put out there this year about people, prominent people, that, you have to be like, oh, is this real? Or is this something that's being made up? Or like what is this? Because like, real talk, you can go on YouTube and you can basically look at it's a lot of stuff up there. And you have to, if you don't know the people personally, then you don't know if that's real or if it's fake. You really don't.
And a lot of social media period, they do things for the views, the ratings, just like we tell you to subscribe to our content. Everybody, they're trying to go viral. And it sells. Let's get
people make money.
They make money off of this. You are making people rich, believing they false stuff. I'm just saying. Yeah. And don't get me wrong. I be looking at YouTube. Lord, I can get engrossed in YouTube and then I have to think about it. That don't even sound right. But it'll catch you. It'll catch you. And if you don't watch your eye gate and your ear gate, you can be pulled into some of this stuff that's not really right. A lot of people, especially these a lot of podcasters, and I'm not trying to go against the podcasters and what they do. They say sometimes their information may not be accurate. It may not be firsthand. They don't know these people that are in entertainment or in that are famous or infamous. They might not know them. They get the information like we do. We do research, and sometimes the research can be false.
Yeah.
Because Google don't do everything truthfully. Bing and whatever.
Okay, so even in Google, you go to Google, you Google something, and now there's an AI.
AI generated.
And what is this app? I can't even think of the name of it. I meant to write it down. I can't think of the name. There's an app for AI.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Okay.
See, that's how old school we are. We gotta
be old school, but we're good at what we do.
Exactly. Don't get it twisted. Yeah, but there's an AI app, so you can write people. I mean, in schools now, the teachers have to be aware, be up on making sure that students are not using AI to generate papers.
Oh, yeah.
I saw in the news there was a person who is going to go to prison and serve time for generating songs and putting them out on the platforms for sale for streaming, and he was making money, but they were not his songs; they were AI generated.
Oh, my God. Oh, well.
So he's actually going. So he made money. He made money from it, but it's not going to help him because he got sentenced to go to jail for that.
It's crazy. So we're going to end up with one thing that I know is on everybody's mind, and we're going to talk very briefly on it, and that is the war.
The wars and rumors of war.
The wars and rumors of wars.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to say now, Ukraine and Russia have been in war for 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna do a little mixing in this because dealing with, we were just talking about climate change and the hurricanes that have affected Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, and western North Carolina, and definitely Florida has been hit severely. And these people need our prayers. If you cannot give to a reputable organization that will get that money to the people. We definitely need you to pray.
Yes.
These people need our prayers. Prayers can go further sometimes than money. Because these people are in a state of crisis and trauma. It's trauma, but going to the war and then you're talking about longshoremen, I'm not going to get into the longshoremen strike. It was a temporary strike. They're supposed to pick it back up. They said at the first of the year. People, please, when something like that happens, there's still, the grocery stores, we still got the western part of our United States that have ports that get goods. Please don't not think of your fellow man and just try to get everything from the grocery store. We all got to live. Please don't hoard and not think of other people. I say that because there may be a time that we all need each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
One way or another. We're going to need each other because it doesn't look like things are getting better. It looks like things may become worse. And you need to prepare yourself for that. Getting to the wars. We have been experiencing Ukraine and Russia in war for 2 years. A year ago on October 7th, Hamas attacked Israel during their festival called Sukkot. Sukkot is really the festival of tabernacles or the festival of booths. It basically is one of 3 festivals that commemorates the children of Israel being in the wilderness during their 40-year journey. And in saying that, they were staying in tents, or that was their shelter, the booths. So they were in celebration of that. And they got attacked during their celebration. Now understand, there has been different chaoses going on between Israel and Hamas or Iran, Lebanon, God, all of that. That's been going on off and on for years, but now it's heightened. That Israel has not backed down. Peace talks were in the workings and all of that. However, they just recently bombed Lebanon. Israel has. It is getting serious. I believe that the talk or the silent talk, not just in communities, but even in arenas that we see in our media, you know, on the down low, is are we going into World War III?
Mm-hmm.
Because now we're talking Taiwan, China, a lot of stuff is going on. We're talking, a lot of countries are like in alert. Um, so I would like to say, just prepare yourself spiritually, mentally, and physically, because it is a serious time. Because these wars do affect our economy.
Absolutely.
It does affect us. One way it affects us that I'm a little touchy on, and that is the money from. I know Israel is our ally. We need to stand with Israel, but and Ukraine, money has been given to them consistently during both wars. And when we are in need ourselves, our own American people, I'm not saying the government is not doing anything. I can only go by what the people that are experiencing the things that they're going through, and they are the ones that have lost.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to get help. I'm only going by what is being said by the actual citizens. The Americans are saying they are the ones, their homes were washed away. Their loved ones died.
Mm-hmm.
Towns wiped out. I'm talking Western North Carolina. Chimney Rock is gone. It was a quaint small town in the mountains, beautiful. Gone. Montreat, gone. People, they're still looking for at least 1,000 people.
Yeah.
They're finding them, but they are missing. Um, and this is 2 weeks later.
Mm-hmm.
So I can say that there are people, citizens, they have heart. Americans have heart.
Mm-hmm.
What the government won't do, and I'm not saying the government is not doing anything, please don't misquote me. I believe the government will do and can do. Sometimes I believe things are caught up in maybe some red tape. But I can say the American people as a whole have been showing up for their fellow Americans.
That's right.
And sending help. I'm talking about everywhere. Sending help. I'm talking about truckload. They're doing saws. Even people going to help restructure and rebuild and clean up. I mean, they're taking off their jobs. I mean, these people both, you're talking about Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee. They got hit in a critical moment of time that we're supposed to be going into not just fall, but the holiday season. Children don't understand that you might not be able to celebrate Christmas or Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
So I say what I'm saying because I want to give you some numbers. And the reason why I say stand up for your fellow Americans and show love and grace.
Mm-hmm.
Our government do it for the wars. With Ukraine, they've given over, to date, $61 billion to Ukraine. That's a lot of money of your United States tax dollars that we work for. Mm-hmm. I'm being real. That's my money too. Mm-hmm. For Israel, and I'm praying for Israel, and I'm praying for all people. Mm-hmm. Okay. To date, it's only been a year. $17 billion, and they were both countries recently were set for new money. Um, my prayer is that once things get to going with the government, our government, that they will do the same amount, if not more, for us or our people, because our people need help. Yeah, war is going to happen. We know that's going to be inevitable, pretty much. But lives, there's something we can do about the lives to make sure that the people that did survive, that they not only survive but get back to a place of thriving and a place of normalcy. Because that could have been anybody. All of this stuff that has been happening, and let's not even mention personally, there's a lot of sicknesses and diseases happening that came up in 2024. I declare I never heard of.
Never heard.
There's cancers I've never heard of that people are getting. Leprosy is coming back. Matter of fact, there's cases in Florida of leprosy. That's an old, like, where'd that come from? Who brought it over here? I mean, really. I mean, this is so serious. We have to have some type of compassion. That is the word I was looking for earlier. Compassion for each other and give each other grace and look out for it. No matter what you stand for or whatever, we're still human beings. It doesn't matter about your nationality, race, creed, belief. We need to look out for each other because we are all we got. And I thank our fellow Americans, those that have donated, those that have helped.
That's right.
Our brothers and sisters in all these states that, really got hit. Mm-hmm. They got to put the pieces of their lives back together again. And in the midst of putting their lives that survived, they've lost people as well. So they have to deal with all of this. So I'm going to end with this, unless Yvette, you got something else to say. You should.
Well, I do want to add, if, we're talking about this and we know people have given and people have shown up, but this is an opportunity, if you have not been able to give. There are some reputable outlets that you can give to: the Red Cross, Samaritan's Purse, Salvation Army, Convoy of Hope.
Yes.
You can even partner up with your local ministries and that type of thing to actually share and give, because we can't just give one time and think that's enough, because, like she said, people are having to rebuild their lives. So we can't stop giving now. We got to keep giving.
Yes.
So.
And I challenge as believers of Christ, I challenge ministries, churches, big, small, in between, do what you can.
That's right. Because every little bit helps.
Every little bit helps. And believe it or not, that is a part of tithes and offering. I just wanted to throw that in there. But to end on this note, and we do thank you for being so attentive to us throughout 2024. It has been a rocky one, challenging. It has been critical. But again, God has still been good. We are still here. We are still in our right mind and in good health.
That's right.
And this is a quote that I want to leave you all with. And I have to give it to my co-host, Yevette. Because when she said it, I wrote it down. I wrote it down quick. And we were actually talking briefly about the war, what's going on in the world, because we normally do that in our time. And she said, war is always upon us. But we get so caught up in the weeds of life that we don't realize that war is raging. A lot of times war is not the physical war that you see or hear about across seas, but it could be in you.
Mm. I said that.
War is always raging. We love you. We look forward to seeing you again in 2025. We are going to take a break. We're going to revamp, but we're going to bring you some very good content.
Yes.
For 2025, we'll be back. We love you. Remember that we are breaking chains to restore life.